On this episode of Piggy Power, we fit a front-mounted intercooler onto a 206. Stage 2 on a 2-litre HDI that isn't already intercooled is going to need an intercooler. There don't seem to be any guides out there for a 206. There's an online guide on a forum for a 306 on the 306 OC. I'll put a little link down the bottom for that. But a few little changes, obviously the 206, just the way that it's packaged in the vehicle. So basically I had an intercooler lying around, we fancied going for that. Now I'm no moog on the harp, but I do play a little bit of guitar, so hang on, there we go. Let the air flow. Let's just see what I've got here. No, it's a little bit rusty, sorry. But there we go, so there's our basic intercooler. I think it's something like 650 by 200 and it's 50mm deep. It should be more than adequate for application. That, to be honest, that will see us very much north of 200 horsepower, considering I'm running pretty much a smaller one on the Lemon right now. Check out that in your own time. So if you're going to do this, you're going to need at least an intercooler. It can't be too big in the front of a 206, there's not that much room. And because of that, we've got a slimline fan. Now you might be able to do it without that. You have to hack your bumper apart, but I've got here, it's a slimline fan, so hopefully you can see that. Generally has to do that with aftermarket applications of intercoolers because the OEM fans are really deep and they kind of interfere with your intercooler. So slimline fan, 16 inch that is, because there's only a one fan on the 206, which is, I don't know what reasons they do that, but they do that. Sorry if you can't see me very well. Let's move some light. There we go. Is that better? Not really, because we've got the sunshine going on here. Great, well at least you can't see me. You're going to definitely need, let's zoom in a little bit on this. So you're definitely going to need one of these, which is an elbow inlet from a 110 HDI. It's sort of as we know it, but the 2-litre 110 HDI, usually they actually come out and go down. This obviously is coming to the front of the vehicle, that's kind of how it sits. Goes to the front of the vehicle like that, and the air is going to go in there. While we're at it, I've got a set of EGR blanks. The EGR is kind of maybe disabled right now, so we're going to blank that off and then blank it off on the manifold as well with those. They're only a few quid, so that's cool. So the elbow, we've got a flat little face on this elbow, so I'm going to be drilling that and putting a barb in, so I've got a take off for a boost gauge. I just sort of have a test boost gauge that I keep with me for different reasons, so you're going to need a boost gauge to be able to set your boost. How will you set your boost? Well, you could try and adjust it on the turbocharger or just buy a manual boost controller. I'll put a link up somewhere in the video. I can never remember if it's that corner or that corner. For questions asked about these manual boost controllers, I'm using one of these. They're only about 20 quid. And the pipe that I've got with it is a braided stuff, just to ensure that it's basically not going to have any rubbing issues. And it's pretty hot down the back there, so a metre of that and my manual boost controller is ready. I'm also going to have to clean out this little pipe, as you can see inside there. It's pretty gunky. I reckon it's reduced down by about 20% of its original, down 20%, so down to 80% of its original size. And also I've got somewhere in an envelope a new inlet gasket, i.e. from the inlet elbow to the inlet manifold. They're only like £2 delivered if you can't get to a Peugeot shop. So I've got one of those in an envelope somewhere safe. I've also got this. So this is a box, like a universal 2.25 inch kit. Now I would run just 2-inch piping, that's more than enough. But this kit is going to give me a bunch of silicone joiners, a bunch of strakes that I need, a bunch of the nickel type sort of connectors, and I got it for about 70 quid. Now basically I'm going to use a few parts and I'm going to flog it on for maybe half the price, but if you work out a few joiners and 2 pipes and that, and you get to about £30–40 very quickly. So getting one of these universal kits is quite handy, because I have a drawer full of bits, randoms, and this is which I've bought. Actually, I need to show you that. But it doesn't really make a kit as such. So yeah, so I might use 1 or 2 bits. This is my get out of sort of jail problem. box this. What I've gone for, you can just do this out of silicons. What I've gone for here is a C5, Citroen C5 2-litre HDI 110 lower pipe. So the turbo goes into there, goes under the engine and comes to the front. The reason I've gone for one of those is the 406 ones, I'm led to believe, have more of a restriction. You could obviously make an elbow yourself and do this in all-in sort of aftermarket stuff like that, but it's a very specific kind of shape. And it's very tricky getting around the drive shaft and everything on an OEM application with these sort of big silicons, you know. So we're going to see how that goes. And I've also just got hold of some 406 pipe work for, again, the 110. That goes from the inlet and then sort of has a nice little wiggle in it. There's some good reasons they do these sort of things, like for the engine movement on this. So we're going to try and integrate some of the OEM pipe work so that it doesn't look too aftermarket-ish, basically. That's a word, I'm sure. Right, folks, quick update. Been busy for just over an hour, I suppose. It's up off the ground, you know, under trays off, etc. The inlet elbow is off now. Cleaned out some gunk from there, which was nice. I'm kind of avoiding the issue that I can't take the other EGR pipe nuts off because they're rounded. I'll ignore that for a second. I've just found an old bracket. Basically, I was going to make a little bracket just to hold our manual boost controller. Wherever that's gone, it's over there somewhere. So the manual boost controller is going to sit in here. So there's conveniently two holes that were just blanked. So we've just utilised those and put the bracket, and so easily could adjust the manual, the boost, I should say. I need to check that's not going to foul the bonnet, but I don't think it will. And then this here is a new manual boost controlling boost pipe hose. The old one is... Oh, there's the manual boost controller in bits. So there's the old pipe. Now let me show you underneath where that goes and why we've replaced it. Hopefully just seeing there, that's the inlet pipe there. And there's our braided pipe coming down. To the right it goes to the boost actuator, and to the left it goes to the housing on the turbo. So just to allow you to hopefully see that. There it is, on the left there. So this is the inlet, bolt's missing. So one goes there and one went the other side. So that's where that little loop of pipe went, just connected the two. So now we've come up from there with our meter of braided line. And we're now there. So we can fit the boost controller and then snip that line where we want it onto the boost controller at the right length, because one goes straight down and one goes to the side. So that's where we're up there. And this is the original pipe work now. You've got here the old inlet elbow that went straight down to the ziggly boost pipe from the turbo there. So turbo, boost pipe, inlet, engine. Pretty simple, but as you can see it warms up nicely behind there, because about there is where the engine manifold, exhaust manifold is. So lovely. So making decent progress so far. We also trimmed, it's somewhere under there maybe. Where it's gone, oh there it is. We've also trimmed already our new boost pipe. There was a bracket that just went there, so we've trimmed that off. I think it will work. I have a feeling the 406 turbos. I have a feeling the 406 turbos actually are orientated very slightly differently. I don't know if that's true or not. So a bit of a tweaking to be going on there with. So I'm going to finish the managed boost, and then we're going to have some lunch. Did you understand that? Food. Another quick update. Not much further with the EGR, we're just ignoring that. But we have got the manual boost controller fixed. In place where it needs to be. So that's as it is now. That's basically full open. So then we'll fit the boost gauge, see what boost it's making, and then you slowly wind that bolt in, which pushes on a ball bearing and spring inside, which prevents the boost until set pressure to come through. So that's that done. It's connected at the turbo end. My next job now is to sort out EGR and fit the inlet elbow once that's happened. And before I do that, I'm probably going to be whacking a hole straight through that bulkhead so we can get our boost gauge pipe going straight through. That's the idea. Whether it will work, let's hope. And Max Attack's here somewhere, but he's being lazy. But anyway, I have got the elbow on now. We've ignored that the EGR won't come off. We'll deal with that if it's an issue, which it probably will be.
Yeah.
And then that little pipe at the back's going through the bulkhead very nicely, neatly into the glove box. So we've got a boost reference. I've already shown you that. The intake is now back on. Might get in our way a bit, but we need to know where the intake is so we don't put a boost pipe through it. So it's going to hopefully go from there to the front and back again. Job done. So bumper's coming off now. And then if we can get that and the fan done today, I think we've done really well. I say we. Plastic candy floss. We've done some major trimming. You just saw some of that to get the big 16-inch fan in. So we just need to zip these through to the radiators. That's fine. We've got a couple of issues we found. It obviously doesn't need a fan because it sometimes gets a bit warm in the summer. And I don't know if we can see that on the camera, but it's yummy. It looks like sort of sweets you'd find in a wrapper, but it's obviously corroded and broken. So we need to fix that. That goes up in there. That won't cause an issue. That's going to clear the intercooler. They use these weird resistors, which is a bit sort of 80s, but we're going to have to reposition that. And the boost hose can go through there, around there, and then our horn is over there now. Which, here's a top piggy tip. If your horn doesn't work on your 206, it's probably the wiring, because they corrode here and break, which that one's been fixed by me. So we're going to fit the fan tonight, have some dinner, come back tomorrow, fit the intercooler, be done. Right folks, so we've had dinner and sleep, come back to the same problems as before. Still a little bit ignoring the EGR, but we think we might have had a bit of a hack on that. So that's where the boost pipe's hopefully going to go. We haven't tested bonnet clearance, but we might ignore that for a second. I've just thought of that. Bonnet clearance. Yeah, that's going to hit the bonnet, so we'll have to sort that out in a minute. Great, we thought we'd fix that. The pipe is sort of in place for underneath. That's obviously not going to stay there, but it's going to be there. Going to come through here. Our radiator, intercooler setup's looking better. Slimline fan's back, that's cool. We've wired up to the original wiring. We fixed 2 relays here. That took quite a while because one of the plugs had broken on the relay. So we've kind of managed to put that all back together. So we have a little resistor that's got to be remounted somewhere. But the next job is to get this intercooler fixed in place, because it's going to be really tight getting pipe work through here and round there, because it looks like you've got loads of room as it is, and the bumper sits really close to the chassis. So that's where the intercooler is going to go. Get some alloy plate now, mount that in place, and go from there. Max attack.
We're going in and do what?
Max.
You think something amazing is about to happen, but have you finished anything?
So I got the camera out. You're about to finish it all in one go.
Premature.
No one likes that. What are you doing, Mike?
This video is rated 15.
Crikey Mike, what's he doing?
My usual.
That pipe looks epic, however,
Too long.
I think that might interrupt with the bumper. So what have we done so far? The radiator slimline fan is in. You'll notice we had to do a little bit of trimming. Still have this. I'm hoping I can fit that up there, so that needs extending wiring. That's the last bit of wiring to do. The horn now doesn't live there, but lives over there. Why they didn't just put it in there in the first place, to prevent all the wiring issues. If your horn doesn't work on a 206, please check the wiring on your horn. It's probably the wiring on the horn, because I can't say anything faster. This is sort of in place now. As you can see, I found some brackets from the race tractor that we resurrected and used, and then got it up to the right height. Intake piping's almost there. Sort of there, and it just clears the bonnet. What else have we done? Yeah, that's good. The wiring's getting there, isn't it? Wiring's getting there. Boost pipe's nearly there. We're going to fit the last stabiliser bracket once the bumper's on, which we're now going to test fix. We need to cut that pipe there. Are we winning?
Yes. Somebody else say yes too.
Problems have been overcome. These two kind men, Max Attack and Crikey Mike, has saved me from chopping up the bumper too much. We have lost the grill, but I never liked that grill anyway. Note to self, sell SP grill for huge amounts of money to someone willing and suckerish. Intake pipe's nearly there for the cooler side. We were going to go round, hence the slight manipulation just there. And the bumper would need to be seriously, the bumper just comes to there. There's no impact protection on the front of these. That is now my impact protection. The horn is relocated, mentioned that. That's done, that's done. This lower pipe work's nearly there. Max is on that. And then it's just left with this fan. That is so like almost prehistoric to how they're doing that, but there we go. So that needs some fresh air somewhere, so that might just end up sitting on the top there. Something like that.
It's too tight. For once, it's too tight. Yeah.
Whoa, I do have Chinese fans. And speaking Japanese does offend them.
Want to swap?
Nearly there, people, nearly there.
I like. I've got low blood pressure and my arms are like.
Nice.
Yeah.
We pre-cut some holes. Well, we cut some holes afterwards to actually get to the bolts there, so you don't have to take all that trim off, which means we can get the bumper off without taking the headlights off. Why couldn't they just do that in the first place? So this trim on the front here actually clips in there on both sides, and then you can get to the bolt, and then the bumper just comes off.
Win.
Simples. Does it look mad yet? Kind of looks like it needs more power. It's kind of saying now, yeah, always needs more power. When did you last clean your ears? I'm going to get the best bit of footage right at the end. Best bit of camera work. Bit of hand touching. Get a bit of romance into the whole shot. It's good we've used a scratch piece of alloy for the bit that everyone's going to see.
Yeah, I've got some. Just buff it up later.
It's still shiny.
I don't think there's a single piece of shine.
Maybe. Let it fit the Honda. No, his own Honda. It's not even funny.
Oh, it is.
That bit there, is that going to interfere with the inbox? Is that going to interfere with the in-tray?
No.
Do you want to prove that fact?
I'd rather prove it if the some idiot hadn't ripped out the forehead. I ripped this off because this is just.
I've never had to use an expletive bleeper until Mike started being on my videos. Get flagged for all sorts. Coupon!
What about that was?
That's tight, yeah. Are those Titan bomb? Really? He didn't just. Really? Have I got to remove calipers when you work on a car?
It's not the car. Seriously, where did this go?
Well, you ripped it off in a torrent of abuse and anger, so you need to reverse your torrent of abuse and anger to refit it.
Oh, I see what it is.
That's the approved technique, isn't it? Whack it!
To get this back in.
Well, panel gaps weren't the best thing for Peugeot, were they?
Do you know what would make the footage a lot better?
Better camera, better people,
No.
better content.
If the car was the other way around.
Yeah, I know, but then when it rains and stuff... Well, getting light, basically, is what you're saying, isn't it?
Not getting light, it's just like when you've got that light in the background, it takes the camera a couple of seconds to...
Yeah. I think it's the start of the song.
Right, we haven't tightened that one up yet.
Look, when you bought the SP kit, which is more expensive, you know what they did? They just put the grille over the front of the original grill with some little clamps.
You charge people for it.
Yeah. They put sill plates in the doors, which is rare for fire door. Look, fancy sill plates and silver pedals and white dials and a half leather alloy gear knob. They didn't put the GT seats in there, but you've seen that on a previous episode of Piggy Pan where we fitted some comfy half leather seats.
I had GT seats at home.
Did you? The other day, a woman talking about female driving, and she said, she said, do you know what one lady only means when you buy a car? She says, what it means is I drove. She says what it means is I drove for half an hour with the handbrake on.
Do you know?
5 minutes.
I've quite shamefully done that.
I was a trailer the other day.
Did you really?
It's a bit heavy, the trailer today.
Oh no.
I came to the traffic lights and I smelled brakes and I was like, I know what I've done. I know what I've done. Being an idiot.
You're creative, ladies and gentlemen.
I've done a max.
Do you know the worst thing I ever did? I once drove off in the van and the tail lift was still down on the floor.
How did that end?
Just ripped it off because it was poking out far enough that it clipped the curb as I turned, and it just pulled it off one side of the back of the truck.
Nice. All this footage I'm going to have to edit now. Bonnet clearance issues, doesn't anymore. Are we plumbed?
We plumbed. Oh, okay.
Somebody needs to look at these stupid. So can someone go back in history and text me how these fit for the front trim of the 306? They fit in there somehow.
306 or 206?
206. And then the 306 had the same issue. There were rubbish clips to hold that trim on.
It looks like they just slide in, don't they?
It does, doesn't it?
And then it just pops on.
It just looks like they just slide in, doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah, you can do that.
You can figure it out, Piggy.
No, I genuinely can't get them on, and they just sort of pull off.
Oh, I can see exactly how they work, but they look like a bit of a fiddle.
But I can't get them back on that.
Oh, it's good thing that Mike just did it in about, I don't know, 5 seconds. Yeah, not even joking, mate.
Like that, some people find that annoying. I'm like, oh, brilliant. Oh, you can do it then.
Where's the other two?
There's 3, one throat.
Naturally.
Boost controller, top elbow change, boosty pipe going down, boosty pipe goes round, boosty pipe goes round and under very nicely. It's pretty tidy actually under there, not too bad on distance down, and it doesn't look too bad. I'm going to get some of the original black trim, not the SP trim, and put the trim here and the same the other side, and we're just going to black that area out in here just so it looks better.
It's not really doing anything, to be honest.
You know what's interesting is the exhaust fumes clean.
Oh, 20, 30 odd boost.
Whoa, I heard that. What's that all about?
That's going up to like 22.
What happened there? Wait, what's going on there? Wait, something's stopping the boost.
What about your manual thing there?
Something's crept up there. 30 psi, just like that. That's too much boost.
Oh dear.
That didn't sound good. That sounded really bad.
Yeah.
That sounds really bad.
The pipe just come off.
Let's hope so. Now the turbo's gone.
Oh, I hope you didn't.
Yep. I've popped the turbo.